Hi guys, welcome to Borderless Stories. Today we'll be discussing migrants and their experiences traveling to the United States. I'm your host, Catie.
I'm Bridget.
I'm James.
I'm Kai.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Natalie.
Hey guys, let's start by talking about migrants' ideas of what immigration will be like. I feel like when most migrants are starting to decide they're gonna travel, or move to the United States, they kind of don't really think about how hard it will be. They kind of just think, I need to get out of where I am now. It's so bad here that I don't care how hard it is to get to the United States.
Yeah,
it depends on the circumstance. So if they're just moving, someone from England moving to America, it's different than someone who's coming to America seeking asylum.
Yeah,
right.
There's definitely reasons people are okay, there's certain reasons that it's dangerous in their country, they need to get out. It kind of depends.
Political,
if they're
or
getting,
war.
Yeah.
And even the people who are seeking asylum, there's such a big wait list that that's why sometimes it's better for them to just
yeah,
go
it's
on
kind
their
of hard to seek. It's kind of it's kind of hard in that.
Yeah, connecting to that, the promise of success. They all think that it'll be so great in America and that they're gonna have such a better life than they do where they are now.
Yeah.
But they don't really think about the fact that they may not have a home. They won't have a lot of money. It's gonna be hard for them to get a start in America. So
There's also a lot of political strife in America.
Yeah,
I don't think people are quick enough to realize how much they'll lose by traveling to America.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that the services that allow people to get to America, the coyotes, are sometimes misleading with what's actually going through. They make it seem better and easier than it actually is to make people want it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we read an article called 70 Miles in Hell from The Atlantic, and there are YouTube videos making these crosses in the Darien Gap seem like a vacation.
And
the
it's really I don't know why they would do this. It's making it sound fun, making videos okay, come join us, this is the Darien Gap.
It's very predatory.
And it's not an okay thing to do because it's actually really difficult for people.
The gangs or cartels that are running that area are trying to make money from the people going through, so they're gonna make it more appealing to go through the Darien Gap.
Yeah,
but they do
social media.
so much to make money. At different outposts, they're selling Wi-Fi hotspots, so you can call your relatives to send you more money and
Do you remember how much anything cost?
It's a lot of
It
money.
was just a lot. It was
I think
It was
definitely
$300 for a trip across the Darien Gap on foot and $1,000 on boat, I believe.
And there was different paths, the option. There was different packages. There's a VIP pass you could take. Or, take
I remember they got to the border and they or whatever, and they had to turn back around, take a different path, and
the Panama military is for them it's illegal to make money off immigration, so they'll close routes and then
they find
the cartel will just find another way.
It's really
in the article it said that the Panaman authorities had put barbed wire across a route, and then a day later cartels had just chopped through it.
Yeah, and they just don't advertise how dangerous it really is. So many people die, and even by taking boat, I remember the article saying something about someone seeing the boat and it said VIP or something, but they really weren't having that much better of a time, and they were using up way more of their money, which is just going to make it even harder for them in America.
Also, I think there was a really high risk of drowning.
The migrants going on foot, even though they knew it was going to be difficult, their eyes were only set on getting out of the situation they were in their country. And people would bring all this stuff and just by the first hill discard it. People had no idea what they were signing up for.
Do you think that's enhanced by the social media that the gangs and cartels
I think
are
it
using?
is.
I feel it definitely plays a role. I feel also it kind of makes you realize I I don't want to say like I want to say like fortunate, but like kind of realizing like what people go through just to get to like the United States and we're here. Like, it kind of makes you realize.
Going back to what Bridget said, it was kind of like they had like a tunnel vision, like that's what the article said. They like just wanted to focus on getting there. They didn't want to think about what was going on in their life. They just wanted to be in America.
Yeah.
Because they just needed to be in America.
Like kind of like the American dream. Like
Yeah, and like
social.
in the New Manners series from Portland Press Herald that we read, we learned about how people who were coming to Maine, they didn't even know where it was. They were just like going somewhere for the like to get out of what they were in, but like once they came to the United States, they had like different struggles, but they still had like struggles. Like it's not all
like horrible long wait times, like 3 to 10 years for immigration,
and it's only getting worse. I mean, the past I think 3 years, the average wait for immigration court has increased from 2 years to 5 years.
They're massively understaffed, if I'm correct.
Nobody's
and like
working.
I feel like going back to like the Daring Gap article, like, I feel like people like so many people are there trying to like help each other out, but like when it comes down to it, like people are kind of just like thinking about only themselves, like they're fighting themselves. Like when they got to like the border, like when they passed the border, or like when they got there, like everyone was fighting because they didn't even know if they were going to get a spot to be able to make it. And I feel like that's really important.
One thing that I thought was really interesting was how like families played a role. Like in the 70 Miles in Hell article, people would get relatives in the States to send them money to get there. And then like in my book that I read, American Street by Ibby Zoboy, like the protagonist Fabiola, she got to the United States, but like her mom got left behind.
Yeah.
I think that's something people don't really think about.
And like imagine like she didn't have family in the United States. What was she like? She was gonna be living on the streets.
I felt really bad. Like I was reading that book, and like I can only imagine.
Was she a minor?
Yeah, she was
16.
16. Yeah.
Well, I think there's separate laws for unaccompanied minors.
Yeah.
I just mean in terms of that, like
I think but like getting to that point, like the guard at like the gates in the airport were like they had no idea like that she had no one. They just thought like, oh, somebody's gonna be there for you.
A lot of what the book I read, Butterfly Yellow, was about was connections between family and like moving across borders.
Family played a really big role. In like most of the books we read.
Yeah. So I read From Here by Luma Muffla. It's a memoir. And she talked about how so she was a political asylum case because she was lesbian, and they don't allow lesbians in her home country. And so she was talking about how she lost family, how she how like being separated from family felt a lot.
Yeah.
Which also is like a big part of like, well, you lose a lot of things when you come.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting about that is in some circumstances, it seems that these people coming into America are willing to do a lot for their family. Like they're willing to send a lot of money and provide aid for their family that need it. But like you said, under something like that, they can just lose, like, I guess, respect for that family member.
Yeah.
Under something that's like really not that important.
Yeah. Something I found super interesting while reading the Daring Gap article was how other people supported each other. Like I remember this like person like fell in the river and someone instantly came in to save them, but like people are still thinking about themselves even though they're helping others.
Yeah. There was a little boy who got lost. I don't remember his name.
I felt really bad for all the families that like all the kids, like the kids don't even know what's happening.
There were so many families that just got split up, but then they like had kids joining other families. Yeah, so there were a lot of kids just joining other families and no one really said anything about it. It was kind of just like they wanted everyone to be able to make it to America and they didn't care like who was with them. They just wanted everyone to make it, even though there were so many people left behind. They tried their hardest to keep everyone.
Yeah, and like once they got to America, like they couldn't bring any of like their old country. Like they couldn't like bring their knowledge if they were doctors or lawyers. Like they couldn't be that in America. Like they would do like labor and they would clean houses. Like
because of the immigration laws and like how labor with people that immigrated, especially if you immigrated illegally. It's a lot harder to get those certifications, even if you have that prior knowledge.
Well, if you came in illegally, you can't get those certifications.
No, you can't.
Well, if you come in illegally, you could still like seek asylum.
Yeah.
Or if you are in on like
But
refugee
even
status.
if you don't come in illegally, it's still like
It's still
you
really
could be the smartest person on the planet, and
it doesn't matter. Like
It
it
doesn't
really
matter.
did not matter. Like it was kind of
yeah.
sad.
So that kind of leads into the impacts of immigration on the U.S. So I feel like we could have a lot more like amazing doctors, and there could be so many people that just like are having better jobs, and we could have so many more like influential people.
Yeah.
But we don't because of these laws, and it's
because a lot of people in the U.S. are a little bit like xenophobic because they're worried like, oh, they're gonna take my job.
Well, I think that there are some kind
even
of
if it's
stereotypes out there surrounding that aren't true, right? And they might be based in some sort of truth, but that's not how the job market is.
Yeah, it is a little bit hyperbolic.
There's also a belief that immigrants are like violent criminals a lot of the time, which is very
it's very
very
stereotypical. Like
U.S.-born citizens commit more crimes. I don't remember where this source is from, but it's from I think it's the Department of Justice.
I think it's also.
Is that percentage though, or is it just numbers? Because if it's just numbers, then there's more U.S.-born citizens than immigrants, so that makes sense. But if it's percentages, then it's
I don't
different.
remember exactly.
Yeah, I think that it's also because like immigrants who are coming to the U.S. are trying to escape like all the crime and all the stuff. That's happening.
Most of the time there's reasons. Like
so. That's it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.